The morning light slowly came into the room through the thick curtains of Kensington Palace. The large bedroom was quiet. Prince William sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the empty space beside him. That space used to belong to Kate. Now, it had been empty for 3 weeks. Kate was staying at a private hospital. She was very sick and needed strong treatment. The doctors wanted her to rest and heal away from the cameras, newspapers, and people asking too many questions. She needed peace. William knew it was the right thing, but the silence in the palace was hard to bear. Every morning, he woke up hoping to see her. But every morning, the pillow beside him stayed cold and untouched. William missed her more than words could say. Sometimes he would talk to the empty room just to hear a voice, just to feel like she was still there. He picked up his phone and saw 17 missed calls from his private secretary, James. There were also many messages from staff and friends. Didn't open any of them. He was only looking for one message. Name, then he saw it. A message from Dr. Elizabeth Harper, the doctor leading Kate's treatment. The message was short, but it gave William hope. Kate is doing better. She might be strong enough for a short appearance soon. His heart beat faster. For the first time in days, he felt something lift from his chest. He stood up, walked to the mirror, and got ready. He wore the navy blue suit Kate always said, made him look younger and kinder. Looked at himself and smiled just a little. The dresser was a framed photo of him and Kate. They were laughing at a charity gala 6 months ago. Kate was wearing a beautiful green dress, and her smile lit up the room. William touched the glass of the photo gently. "I'll see you soon," he whispered. The drive to St. Mary's Children's Hospital took about 40 minutes. William sat in the back of the black Range Rover. He didn't speak much. Outside the windows, London was busy, but inside the car, everything was quiet. His protection officer, Detective Inspector Sarah Collins, sat in the front. She looked back at William now and then. Both he had worked with him for over 10 years. She had seen him smile, laugh, cry, and handle great pressure. But today, his eyes looked more tired than ever. William kept thinking about the phone call he had with Kate 3 days ago. Her voice sounded stronger. She told him she missed him, and she spoke about the children at the hospital. She had received a card from a little girl named Emma. The card had rainbow stickers and a big "Get well soon" message. Kate had cried when she saw it. She told William to visit the children, to smile for them, and to tell them she loved them all. She also made him promise something else, something very personal, something William wasn't ready to share. The hospital came into view. William saw cameras, reporters, and curious onlookers. They stood behind fences, waiting for a photo or a statement. The palace had only shared that Kate was recovering from a medical issue, but the press could feel that something serious was going on. William stepped out of the car. Flashlights from cameras went off immediately. Porter shouted questions, but he kept walking straight. He had done this before. He knew how to hide his pain behind a calm face. At the entrance of the hospital, Dr. Sarah Mitchell was waiting, but she was in her 50s, kind, and always had a smile that made people feel better. She greeted William with a warm look. He trusted her. She had been helping young patients for years and had worked closely with William and Kate before. As they walked through the halls, Dr. Mitchell gave updates about the children. Emma was doing better and kept asking about Kate. Marcus had learned to walk again using his new prosthetic leg. Sophia, who was just 5, had finished another round of treatment and could finally eat without getting sick. The halls were painted with bright colors, full of drawings and handprints from past patients. William paused at one wall where there were 2 yellow handprints, side by side his and Kate's. They had painted them during a visit last year. He stared at them for a moment, his eyes full of memories. Dr. Mitchell placed a hand on his arm. She didn't say anything about Kate. She just reminded him that the children were waiting. They needed smiles, love, and strength, things William and Kate had always brought with them. Outside the main playroom, William could hear laughter and voices. He looked through the glass and saw about 20 children inside. Some were in wheelchairs. Others had 4 stands beside them, but all of them were smiling. Before walking in, William closed his eyes. He imagined Kate beside him, holding his hand, whispering kind words. Her strength gave him strength. Then Dr. Mitchell opened the door. The room fell silent for a moment. The children looked up, and then cheers and claps filled the air. "We're happy to see him." William smiled, a real smile, for the first time in a long time. 7-year-old Emma ran up to him first. She wore a pink knitted hat. Her eyes were tired, but they still sparkled. In her small hands was a drawing. It showed William and Kate standing beside a rainbow. William knelt down and took the drawing gently. "Kate will love this," he said. His voice soft. As he hugged her, something changed inside him. This visit. These children, this was the beginning of something special. What happened next would surprise everyone in the room. The playroom was full of joy. Sound of laughter, clapping, and excited voices echoed in the air. Children smiled, their parents smiled, and even the nurses looked more cheerful. Prince William stood in the middle of the room, surrounded by little faces full of hope. He smiled and bent down to talk to each child, but in his heart, one face stayed close, Kate's. For years. William and Kate had visited children's hospitals together. They always made a strong team. Kate brought kindness and calm. William brought energy and warmth. The children loved them, and they loved the children back. Today, William was here alone, but it didn't feel like he was completely alone. Could feel Kate's presence in every moment. He remembered her words during their last phone call. "Promise me you'll smile for them. Promise me you'll give them hope." He was doing his best to keep that promise. 7-year-old Emma had given him a drawing. It showed him and Kate standing under a rainbow, holding hands. "I hope she gets well soon," Emma said softly. William gave her a gentle hug. "She's getting stronger. She'll be happy to see this." He moved from child to child, kneeling, shaking hands, sharing small jokes. He met Marcus, who proudly showed how he could now walk on his new leg. Sophia, the youngest in the room, shyly gave William a flower made of paper. Each moment was beautiful, but it also made William feel something heavy deep inside, because Kate would have loved this. She always found joy in these visits. Then something unexpected happened. The door at the back of the room slowly opened. A nurse stepped in, and behind her stood a figure no one expected to see. It was Kate. She stood quietly for a moment. Her body was thinner, and she looked a little tired, but her face held the same peaceful strength everyone remembered. She wore a simple blue dress and a light scarf around her head. Her smile was soft, but it reached her eyes. The room went silent. William turned around and froze. For a moment, time stopped. Their eyes met across the room. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He blinked as if to make sure it wasn't just. In his mind, Kate smiled wider and gave him a small nod. Then the crowd gasped, tan suddenly. Cheers and claps filled the air again. Children shouted her name. Some parents had tears in their eyes. Even a few nurses wiped their cheeks with their sleeves. Kate slowly walked forward. Her steps were careful but steady. William met her halfway. He didn't care who was watching. He took her hand gently, as if afraid she might break, and pulled her into a hug. It was long and quiet. "Are you okay?" he whispered. She nodded. "I had to come. Couldn't let you do this alone." William looked at her face, and for the first time in weeks, his eyes filled with tears. But they were happy tears. The woman he loved, who had fought so hard, was standing beside him again. Together, they turned back toward the children. Kate knelt slowly beside Emma, who looked surprised but overjoyed. "Is it really you?" the little girl asked. Kate smiled and took her hand. "Yes, sweetheart. And I brought someone special with me, this beautiful drawing you made." She held it up proudly. "You gave me so much strength with this. Thank you." Emma hugged her tightly. Around the room, the other children clapped again. Some called out to her, and she tried to visit each one, even if just for a minute. Kate's voice was softer than before, and her movements slower, but her spirit was just as strong. Kate's presence brought a new kind of peace into the room. The children who had felt nervous before were now full of joy. The parents saw hope. The nurses smiled wider. William stood by her side, helping where needed, giving support without words. He was proud of her more than ever before. Dr. Mitchell, who had known the couple for years, stood at the edge of the room and watched quietly. She had never seen anything like this. She later said it felt like a miracle. It wasn't just about Kate being there, she said. It was about how much love and strength they gave each other. It made everyone in that room feel something special. As the visit went on, the mood became lighter. Kate even laughed at a joke one of the boys told her. William took a picture with the children and nurses. Kate sat on a beanbag with little Sophia, reading a short story aloud, her voice soft but steady. No one wanted the moment to end, but after some time, the doctors reminded Kate that she had to rest. Her body was still healing. She had pushed herself to make this visit happen, and though it was emotional, it had also been tiring. William helped her stand, wrapping his arm around her gently. She waved to the children and whispered, "I'll come again, I promise." As they walked out of the room together, hand in hand, the children called out goodbye messages. Some parents cried softly, touched by the courage they had just seen. One mother said, "They didn't just visit the hospital today, and they brought hope back into this place." It was true. For the first time in many weeks, people smiled with full hearts, because Kate had come back. Because William had never given up. Because love, courage, and kindness had filled a room where pain once lived. But what the crowd outside saw next, when Kate and William stepped through the hospital doors, would leave the whole world speechless. As Kate and William walked hand in hand through the hospital corridor, the hallway became quiet. Nurses and doctors paused to watch them. Some smiled. Some covered their mouths in shock. Kate's return was not expected, not today. She looked tired. Yes, but she also looked peaceful, calm, brave, and her hand in William's firm. Steady was proof of something greater than recovery. It was love. Real, strong love that had survived silence, fear, and distance. They stepped outside the hospital. Doors, the moment was soft and quiet just for a second. Then the crowd saw her. Gasps, camera clicks. Reporters stopped talking mid-sentence. For weeks, people had only spoken of her illness, her disappearance, and her silence. Rumors had filled newspapers and websites. But now she was right there in the open, smiling, holding William's hand. The applause started with just a few people. Then it grew louder and louder. The whole crowd clapped. Some cheered. Some cried. A woman in the front row shouted, "We love you, Kate," and others joined in. William gently placed his arm around Kate's back. He whispered in her ear, "Are you okay?" She gave him a soft smile and nodded. "Yes," she said. "Let's do this." He stood still for a moment, facing the crowd. Kate didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her face said everything. She was still healing, still fighting. But she had chosen to show up, and that, to many, was more powerful than any words. One little girl in the crowd was holding a poster that said, "Princess Kate, you gave me hope." A man in the back had tears in his eyes and whispered to his wife, "She came back for him." And for all of us. Later, William's protection officer, Detective Inspector Collins, would say, "I've guarded them for years. I've seen royal moments, big events. But this was different. This was human. This was real." After a few minutes, William guided Kate to the car. He didn't rush. He didn't hide. He stayed calm, focused only on her. As the car drove away, the crowd waved. Some prayed. Some simply stood in silence, watching until the black vehicle disappeared around the corner, back at Kensington Palace. William helped Kate out of the car and into the quiet comfort of their home. She was tired now. Her body ached. Her mind needed rest. But her heart was full. She sat down on the sofa and looked around the room she hadn't seen in weeks. It felt like home again. William brought her tea, placed a blanket over her legs, and sat beside her. He didn't say much at first. He just held her hand. Then Kate spoke. "I wasn't sure I could do it, Will." "You did it," he replied. "You were incredible." Kate leaned her head on his shoulder. "I wanted to be there. For the children. For you. I couldn't stay away anymore." William's eyes became glassy with tears. "You never left me, Kate. Not really. I saw you. In every hallway, in every memory. I talked to you every morning." She smiled and squeezed his hand. "I know, I felt it." They sat like that for a long time. No cameras, no doctors, no pressure. Just two people in love, resting in the peace they had created together. Later that evening, the news spread across the world. TV screens and phones everywhere showed the same image: Kate, standing beside William outside the hospital, smiling softly, looking brave and graceful. People called it a royal miracle. But for William and Kate, it was never about making news. It was about something far more personal. It was about a promise. A few weeks before, Kate had made William promise something during one of their phone calls. No matter what happens, remind people that love wins, even in pain, even in fear. Love stays. Today, that promise had been kept. The children at the hospital would never forget. The day their princess showed up when no one thought she could. The nurses would always remember the moment Kate knelt to hug little Emma, and William would carry the strength of this day in his heart forever. As the sun began to set over London, as the palace lights glowed softly, William stood by the window, watching the evening sky turn golden. Behind him, Kate rested on the sofa, sleeping peacefully. He turned and looked at her. She was still here, still fighting, still his. He walked over, kissed her forehead gently, and whispered, "Thank you." The story of Kate and William that day was not about a royal visit. It wasn't about duty or title. It was about something deeper. It was about a man who never gave up. It was a woman who refused to break, and a love that stood tall in front of the world, quiet but unshakable. And for everyone who watched, who cried, who smiled that day, reminded them of something they had forgotten for a while, that sometimes the strongest power isn't a crown. It's the courage to show up, the strength to hold on, and the grace to stand together. The end. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let others feel the power of love, hope, and true strength.